Thank you for turning to page 121. Today we're going to take a look at Secret Agents Man, with apologies to Johnny Rivers, from old books and the new. We're going to take a look at the agent career path out of the 2022 update, and we're going to apply it to some of the older covert agencies that exist in and out of the Imperium. So I also want to remind you that there is a Patreon going on. I'm trying to expand the channel a little bit, maintain the quantity of videos I've been able to put out. So just asking for a little bit of help. This is not easy to do at this number of videos per week. It takes a lot of research and a lot of time. I just need a little bit of help to keep things going. So if you can, take a look at it. I'd appreciate it. But back to the topic at hand, the agent career path in Traveller. Okay, we're going to take a look at the agent career path in Mongoose Traveller, but we're going to apply it to some of the older stuff that's gone before it. So agent is just one of the many career paths you can have in Traveller, and it's kind of a catch-all because it includes law enforcement agencies, corporate operatives, spies, and others who work in the shadows. So you could be a space cop, a la Joe Miller from The Expanse, or you could be a James Bond in space, however you really choose to do it. And there are a lot of different agencies that you can work for, both in the Imperium and outside the Imperium. So you have your regular stuff. You have to have intelligence of 6 up to qualify. And then you get assignment. You choose either law enforcement, intelligence, or corporate. This is pretty standard for rolling a current Traveller character. And then you go through your skills and training based on which branch you're in, your career survival, your career advancement, your mustering out benefits. So it's pretty straightforward, but agent is a lot more than that. Agent breeds a lot more into the character. Years and years ago, my most successful character in Traveller was a guy I named Rourke Walton, and he worked for IBIS. That's the Interstellar Bureau of Internal Security. This is from an old Dragon magazine, Dragon number 35. This is from March of 80 issue. So this is actually before I even knew about Traveller. This already existed. And this was its own career path that you could do. The neat thing about IBIS was you couldn't retire from it until you hit 20 years in service, so post 5 terms, then you were automatically retired. But you automatically got access to Anagathics, which kept my character young and vibrant straight through. So it was pretty interesting. It was a good character. I played him then as just somebody aboard a ship, almost like a Reverend Booker on Firefly type character. He wasn't a Reverend, but I did play him as just a guy with some engineering skill who was aboard a trader, and he had all these secret agent skills and things like that. This is a really neat career path in Traveller that still easily translates to the game today. So I do recommend it. You'd have to tweak it a little bit because honestly, reading it again for the first time in a few years, I see that it's actually quite powerful. The Anagathics alone are very strong, and you end up getting a lot of skills out of this class. So that wouldn't translate too well. You'd have to water it down a little bit. But the idea of the Interstellar Bureau of Internal Security, I'm still in love with. There are several agencies you can choose to have your agent be from or have worked for throughout his career in Traveller, some of which can be for the Imperial Navy, in the intelligence service there, the Scout Service, the Marines, Naval Intelligence. They all have their own branches that deal with intelligence, simply intelligence gathering or field operative, whatever you end up having this guy be. It's just an interesting way to breathe some more life to your character rather than just say, well, he was an agent and he worked for Imperial Secret Service. Okay, that's cool. I like that. But maybe he worked for the Scout Secret Service. There's a lot of different things. You just Google it, you find it online, you go, hey, I can have him be this or I can have him be that. You can also have him work for the bad guys. This is an excellent supplement from Paranoia Press from 1981. SORAG, the organization and equipment book, if you want to be a Zodani secret policeman. So it's just kind of neat. SORAG stands for Study and Operations Recording Activities Group. And This was out in 81. This apparently is the second print that I have here from October of 81. And it just goes through again, just like the Ibis did, showing you what it would be to be in Sorag. But keep in mind, you are working for the Zodani. So you would be either in Zodani space, which I don't know that I want a game in Zodani space, or more likely, you would be some kind of operative operating in neutral or Imperial space from Sorag. Neat little book. I believe it's on the Far Future Enterprises listings, and it's also on DriveThruRPG. If you have the opportunity, I recommend grabbing it. I got this one in a closeout in the mid-'80s for $1, so yeah, this was quite a steal. Paranoia Press, just as a quick aside, if you're not familiar with them, they put out some excellent stuff for Traveller. They did some other books as well, but their stuff for Traveller was excellent. I recommend it completely. So take a look at those if you get the chance. But the idea of the agent is not just being a spy. You could be a corporate operative. So if you've, I'm trying to think, corporate operative would be if you watch the movie RoboCop. The way the corporate people are backstabbing each other in that, and some of the field agents they have that go ahead and eliminate rivals and stuff. That's not a bad look at maybe a corporate agent. Law enforcement agencies, there's a bunch of them. Some kind of star cop. Deckard from Blade Runner would be a good example of that, but he'd be a specialist. And of course, like I said, corporate operatives, plain old spies. And with this path, the way it's written, there's a lot that you can actually dial in on. So you can have, oh, I got TAS membership as a mustering out benefit. Well, you got the TAS membership maybe because the agency wanted you hooked into TAS. Travelers Aid Society can be a very useful contact. They kind of dialed you in and they said, okay, we need you in there. You're going to be making contacts through the TAS, or maybe that's a Dropbox. Maybe they even have a couple of safe houses that they operate through TAS. Anything along those lines would work beautifully for this. You could have a couple of the characters in the game be agents, maybe from the same agency. Maybe that's their link when they were coming up together. They trained out together or something. So there's a lot of different ways you can use the agent class. It's one of my favorites, obviously. Rourke Walton did quite well under Ibis, which back then wasn't really a career path. As an agent per se, he actually was under the Ibis career path, but it's still pretty neat. I like it. I think that there's a lot more you can do than just these 2 pages, and I think that that's what Mongoose intended. I don't think you're supposed to just take these statically and say, oh, okay, well, I'm an intelligence operative, and here's all my stats, and that's boom, I worked for some agency. No, I think Traveller always wants you to breathe life into the character and do a little digging and find out, things that would interest you. And maybe I worked for Imperial Secret Service, or maybe I was an operative who reported directly to the Emperor. If you want to go that high in your campaign, there's nothing to stop you. Maybe you're just a James Bond in space, but you're an elite. James Bond being one of the double O's, licensed to kill. So maybe that's you. Maybe you're out in space and you're licensed to kill with a Gauss pistol. I don't know. It's really up to you to decide what you want to do with it. I really enjoy this class, this career, and I recommend it highly. I also recommend this. I Googled covert intelligence agencies in Traveller, and I came up with a bunch of different agencies that you could have your character work for, and ways you could drive your story just through your character's origins. So just a thought. And by the way, who says that you're necessarily a retired agent? Maybe you're on a deep mission that's going to take a few years, and maybe to do that end, you hooked up with this crew. That's really up to you and your game master. So that's really all I've got to say about the agent career path today. I am interested in looking at a few of the other career paths down here. If you're interested in seeing those, please let me know. Some different ways you could possibly play the career path. So if there's any interest in that, please let me know. Please remember the Patreon. And thank you for watching. And I'll see you next time on page 121.